Hi traders, this is Elite Currency with the euro dollar, pound dollar analysis as usual, taking a look at the Monday open for the trading week. Alright, let's kick off with the euro dollar weekly chart. Last week, a doji with a big wick at the top. So far, I think that the candle of 2 weeks ago is still dominant, that bearish candle, and a continuation lower should occur this week. Last week was very slow and corrective on the euro dollar, perhaps due to the news events that we had throughout the week. But maybe this week, I think we should see the continuation towards this 38.2 fib. Don't forget, we broke below the 23.6 fib at 117. The next target, from my point of view, is 115, 114.80 at the 38.2 fib, plus the moving average support as well, which could complete the wave 4 if you like to look at wave patterns, that this could be a wave 4 after a strong push up in the wave 3 from 105 all the way up to nearly up to 121. If we take a look at the monthly chart, of course, a couple of days ago, the October month candle is visible. That's a bearish candle indicating kind of a confirmation that we're getting a bigger correction at this moment. And who knows, the 38.2 fib might not be the bouncing spot necessarily. It could even go down to the 50 at 113. So I would say the 50 retracement is the max. Otherwise, I would not consider this necessarily to be a wave 3, and something else might be going on. For the moment, as I said, wave 1, 2, 3, like this, and 4 is expected. So either the 38 or 50 fib, I will be looking for daily candlestick, candlestick patterns on the daily chart at those two support levels for an uptrend continuation. The target 122.50, maybe even 125 at the minus 272 target as well. So let's dive in now to that daily chart, and you can see that this was the bearish engulfing twins of last week Thursday, with the euro, basically ECB rate and quantitative easing decision. Then we went 5 days sideways, more or less, or even 6 days, making a bear flag. And but Friday was a bearish candle, so I would expect follow through. Here you see on the 4-hour chart, two big wicks on the 4-hour chart here, and ultimately a pretty nasty in a way and long correction on this euro dollar. All right, with the ECS live, we took a couple of attempts to trade this and had 2 break-even trades and 1 small loss of minus 8 pips, trying to trade this break to the downside, but it never broke. So now it did break, very tail end of the last week with a good bearish 4-hour candle. Now on the daily chart, it's still making that sideways move, but I think that looking at this particular breakout, I think that depending how it opens, of course, but I think if it makes a 1-hour bear flag like this, breaks that bear flag, then it looks good for me as a follow through and continuation towards that 115 target I mentioned. Now, it will not necessarily fall in one shot towards 115. It might retrace to 116. Well, we could put a fib on from here to here, I think. Let me check the 50-minute chart, see if there's any particular pattern here that maybe even here. Well, let's leave it here, I guess, for the moment. And 160, yeah, basically any pattern, rising wedge, triangle, bear flag that goes up to 116.20, 116.30, 116.40, and the break of that flag should be a good continuation. If we get a deeper correction, because if this is a wave 1, 2, wave 2s can sometimes be deep, so there could be a zigzag like that. That's also possible. In that case, price should not break above this 116.89.8 high. Otherwise, wave 2 is invalidated and is out of the picture. And it could retrace deeper towards these fibs. In that case, I'll be looking for candlestick patterns, probably on this hourly chart, but 4-hour chart is always good as well, for reversal candlestick patterns down to that 115 target. All right, I should use red, not blue. Reversal, bearish reversal candlestick patterns at 116.55, 116.70, 116.80. All right, so one more view at the 4-hour chart. And yes, so that's, you can see interim targets, because as I said, this will not fall in one shot, so there could be a retracement like this, a fall maybe down to the 61.8 target, then a smaller bear flag, and then maybe a follow through down to that 38.2 fib, for instance. And this correction, of course, might take the whole Monday, and this break could take Tuesday, and then we get a correction on Wednesday, and then the break finishes off on Thursday, and Friday we make kind of a bounce. For instance, this is just to give you a little bit of time perspective. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but just to give you some kind of feeling for that, what could happen. All right, let's take a look at, and by the way, if it does break above this top, for whatever reason, there's a V-value reversal, and there is a bull flag like this. If you see a bull flag after bullish momentum, this whole analysis, this whole bearish analysis is out of the window, and there could be an extended correction upwards. In this case, this is maybe one correction, this is another correction, and we get a bigger up correction like this. All right. In that case, we'll probably anyhow reanalyze this on Tuesday, and we'll review that scenario then. For the moment, I don't think it's worth discussing, but just to give you a heads up, if you see bullish momentum and a bull flag, big red flag. All right, big red flag. Be careful. All right, so pound USD. A bit difficult formation and pattern and structure on the higher time frames is being squeezed into these, between these moving averages basically. We do have a solid daily candle there, bearish daily candle. And it is trying to break through this corrective zone. Let's take a look at the higher time frames too. Bit of an indecision candle last month. So it would be good to see the break of the candle lows. All right, that could indicate the downside, because for the moment it is moving higher, and if we connect these bottoms like this, it is trying to challenge this support level, but really hasn't broken below this weekly level on a monthly trend line. Weekly chart kind of shows the same thing. We can correct this line a little bit like this, and shows 3 bearish candles in a row, but very small candles. It's basically just going sideways, but it's really threatening to break. Look at this big wick, bearish close, especially last week. So it looks like it wants to push through the support trend line and the support zone. And I think that from this perspective, there's a good chance for that. I would probably like to see, there are 2 scenarios, is wait for the breakout candle to really push through it, and then look for a pullback and continuation, a bit more conservative approach. Or try to even find a setup that tries to get into a short before the breakout. I don't see anything really with regard to bulls at this moment that makes sense, considering the strong daily candle and an inside candle after that. Considering the strong weekly candle, I don't think that looking for upside at this moment makes sense, unless price were to fly up, as I said, make a bull flag. That might change things, just like the euro dollar basically. Have to keep, of course, flexible with that, but for the moment it is looking bearish, and it all depends. Do you wait for the breakout, or maybe we can get a bigger correction like this. It is a bit choppy kind of correction here, so I don't see any particular pattern as yet. But let's say price moves up like this, all right, and starts building maybe a channel like this, up, down, like this, for instance, and then breaks that. That could be one way. Or, of course, we can always put a fib from here to here, like this, and try to see if price could bounce at these fibs. Now, considering all of this choppiness that we've seen before, I am not a big fan of necessarily trading it here as yet. So I think on Monday I'll just sit on the sidelines. I think Tuesday we'll revisit and reanalyze this, and you'll get an update of what I think. But in the meantime, if Monday were to be a breakout candle, yes, then I would expect continuation. So I think I'm sitting on the sidelines still on the pound dollar, despite this good bearish movement. But there is a good chance that later this week there could be some interesting short setups for this pound dollar. All right, that wraps it up. Join us with ECS Live, and of course check out elitecurrency.com there for all that info, free material as well, and analysis on a daily basis. All right, see you soon. Wish you good trading.